nice of you to join us here on yet another Saturday evening on the Simple Gift Show. Thank you so much for coming to be with us. We are Simple Gifts, the Sawyer family band, David and Leah, and I'm Kathy, and this is a special treat for us. Leah has headed off to college, but has run back to help us tape the show tonight. And for that, we are grateful, making more memories together as a family. And the Lord has given us lots of opportunities to do that. One of that was this summer, as we headed to Virginia and had such a special time. Leah got to play at Dogwood Dell with Dr. David Esleck and his jazz trio, and it was such a memory that was. And though this was not a Christian venue, Dr. Esleck gave Leah an opportunity to play the following song, and it was awesome. Matt, if you could play that video, that'd be great.
This song means a lot to me because this is one that we sing in churches, and typically you'll find us at a different church every Sunday morning. That's something that we really love to do. This is one that you hear a lot of times if you ever get a chance to come see us. It's been recorded by all kinds of people, including Johnny Cash. Crooked Still recorded this song. But I really love it because of the message behind it. And I hope you enjoy this song as much as I enjoy playing it. It's called Ain't No Grave. Ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. And when I hear that trumpet sound, I'm gonna get up out of the ground. Ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Well, go down yonder, Gabriel, put your foot on the land and sing. Gabriel, don't you blow your trumpet until you hear from me. Then I looked way over yonder, and tell me what you think I see. I see a band of angels, and they're coming after me. Then I looked way down the river, I saw the people dressed in white, and I knew it was God's people, 'cause I saw them doing right. There ain't no grave gonna hold my body down. Ain't no
was such a great night there in Richmond, Virginia with Dr. David Esleck and his trio, and such an awesome time to proclaim and be reminded that as believers in Jesus Christ, there ain't no grave that can hold us down. And so many special things while we were in Richmond. So Dr. Esleck introduced us to another very special person. His name is Bruce Hobart. And Bruce will tell you in just a minute about his young life, his older life, and how difficult that was. And yet you'll see what amazing things the Lord has done in his life. So I am so happy to give you an introduction to Bruce Hobart.
Well, after I finished the second grade in a small town in Ohio, my mother had just had her neck broken, was in a full body cast. My sister finished the first grade. My father packed the three of us up and took us to War, West Virginia, where my maternal grandparents lived. Gave me a $2 bill to take my sister to the movies, and I didn't see him again for 54 years. He left us there on the side of the road. My mother got an emergency teaching certificate and taught elementary school. 3 nights a week she taught coal miners how to read and write. 2 nights a week she commuted to Concord College. Saturdays she worked in a hardware store. And Sundays we went to the Methodist Church. I still treasure her memory. She was killed in an automobile accident at the age of 42 in 1970. Never got to see the fruits of her labors. And all through my youth and young adult years, I always had a hole in my heart that nothing seemed to fill. And I lived my life accordingly. I was self-serving. I was consumptive, doing a lot of wrong things. And then in 2007, an Episcopalian friend of mine invited me to attend a 10-week study of Jesus Christ at a Catholic church. The program was called Alpha. And the leader of the Alpha course came up to me and said, "We're going to have a healing session. We'd like you to participate." And my first response was, that's really not my thing. And the first 8 or 10 times I did this, it was typical in a public prayer where you sneak peeks to see if it's over or not. And then I laid my hands on one woman, and I felt this tremendous heat shoot up through my arms and across my chest. And very quiet tears began to run down my cheeks. And it happened again and again and again, and it was exhausting. But I found myself in a place of complete peace and love and comfort. I felt years and years of sin and filth washing off of me, like being caught in the summer rain. And suddenly there was no one left to pray over. So I went to the front of the abbey and got down on my knees. The priest came over. He knew I wasn't Catholic and said, "How can I help you, son?" And I said, "I'm here to turn my life over to Jesus Christ. From this point forward, I belong to him. I set aside my pride, and I now belong to Jesus. For whatever purpose you have, I now belong to you." And at that point in time, my life changed in an instant. I was reborn, renewed. All the anger and the pain and the loneliness that I had felt for so many years was just gone.
So you've met Bruce, and you've heard a little bit about his difficult childhood. And in his own words, as he grew, he became self-serving and consumptive, and adulthood was a struggle too, even though perhaps he might have been successful in the world's eyes. And then Jesus got him, and he surrendered all. And the love and the mercy and the grace that Christ showed him transformed his life. And I think there's so much to be said to us about wherever we've come from. Whatever we've done, we are not too far gone for the Lord to reach out and love us. So Bruce was listening. He gave his life to the Lord. And the Lord was very clear with Bruce about what needed to happen next. So now we're going to let you listen in on that. Here's Bruce.
So at that point, in 2007, my life started over completely.
So after that, and you've given your life to Jesus, and you felt this peace, and then, if I understood correctly, somehow he communicated to you that there was something to be done.
Well, for fast forward 7 years, 2014, Kathy Trafficante, our Minister of Education, caught me in the hall one day and said, I need a mission to put together. Go find one. I had just had a hip replacement, and it would get me up in the middle of the night. Well, one night I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and all I could think of was, kids need shoes. Kids need shoes. So the next day I went on Facebook, social media, and put a post. And I said, stop what you're doing right now. I want you to write a check for $5 or $10 or whatever you can spare. Make it payable to Second Baptist Church and mail it to me at this address. Well, we're now entering our 6th year of the famous shoe mission. In the first 5 years, we collected $42,000 and have purchased over 1,400 pair of brand new shoes. And each pair of shoes is custom. I get a little child's name, her age, her shoe size, and I go and buy her a pair of shoes. We've already purchased 100 pair. Our target this year is 300 pair of shoes.
Wow.
7 out of every 10 children are being raised by a grandparent or a foster parent because their parents are either dead, in prison, or simply left them like I was left. We have come to the conclusion that these children, the only way to break the chains of poverty and ignorance is through an education. And if you can put a new pair of shoes on the kids and they can go to school and not worry about the cardboard that's getting wet to cover the hole in the bottom, we can take their minds off their circumstances and give them a reason to smile. It's the shoe mission has become something very, very special, and the people that have donated to it inside this congregation is now substantial. But in addition to that, there's a night watchman in Kansas City that every year sends me a Western Union money order for $15. California, Florida, last year we got donations from London, England, and it's been a real blessing. I tell the people in our church, if I can get you to come one time, I'll never have to ask you to come back. But they're good, honest people, and if I've learned anything from them, it's we don't care what you know until we know that you care. Mm-hmm. Every year, every mission trip we take up there, we go up there with an agenda. And I guarantee you, before I get across the state line, Jesus has stepped in and changed the agenda. But we're doing his work.
Bruce, tell us about the distribution of these shoes. How does that work? Do you meet the kids personally?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So when you get there and you have these crates full of shoes, how do they get from the crate to the kid?
Normally what happens is I leave them at the location and let the human resources officer, a teacher at the elementary school, distribute them in between classes. I know a lot of the kids though from the Christmas program and also through the Vacation Bible School. And now that we're entering our 6th year, I've seen these children grow up. I make sure that every kid that I've got gets the right pair of shoes, but I also know that God has a plan for you. He had a plan for me, simply by turning it over to Jesus Christ. No matter what you try to do to change things, unless you have His blessing and His guidance, you're just a blind dog barking up a tree for a squirrel that's not there.
Bruce, if people would want to contribute to what the Shoe Man is doing, how do they do that? How do they find it?
Yeah, Bruce Hobart on Facebook, and it's all there. And every day there's going to be another plug for reach for your checkbook and send me a check.
Great. That sounds great.
It's a lot of fun.
Bruce, it's so interesting and encouraging to hear what you're doing and what the Lord's doing in your life.
Maybe there's a child up there whose life we're changing right now, that 20 or 30 years from now is going to make a major change in someone else. I'm the conduit, the extension cord. The people that see the message are touched because they grew up there. West Virginia, they call it almost heaven, but it's a very fertile place to go and work. There's a lot of stories there. A lot of stories.
Well, thank you for sharing yours.
I'm so happy that you've met our new friend, Bruce Hobart. If that is a ministry that you are interested in helping in, find Second Baptist Church in Richmond and you can send money in support of the Shoe Man, and he would love that. You can find Bruce Hobart on social media and hook up with him there. We're so grateful for the work he's doing and amazed. Actually, you talk about West Virginia. War, West Virginia is the town that Bruce visits year after year. And he refers to how beautiful West Virginia is, the beautiful mountains in West Virginia. We also think a little bit about Bruce's life and the mountains he had to climb, he had to overcome in his life. And then we think about what the Lord gave him to do, and to put shoes on hundreds of kids feels like a mountain. But you know, what we've learned, I think, through the years is that if the Lord gives you a mountain, He has a purpose and a plan, and He's going to show you how to climb it, just like He showed Bruce.
Mountain, just help me, Lord, to climb it. You don't have to move that stumbling block, just show me the way around it. We must climb a great high mountain to reach God's gracious kingdom. But in His words you'll find your strength. If you would just believe, Lord, you don't have to move that mountain. Just help me, Lord, to climb it. Don't have to move that stumbling block. Just show me the way around it. altar. Oh, but you can have His grace, my friends, on your knees down at the altar. No, you don't have to move that mountain. Just help me, Lord, to climb it. You don't have to move that stumbling block. Just show me the way around it. God, you don't have to move that mountain. Just help me, Lord, to climb it. You don't have to move that stumbling block. Just show me the way around it. No, you don't have to move that stumbling block. Just show me the way around it.
Well, that brings us to the end of another show. I hope when you watched Bruce that you recognize that part of what the Lord did for him was to give him the gift of his experience and his opportunity and then the gift of his love. And Bruce used those gifts to put shoes on kids. So what's God asking you to do? What gift is He giving you to use? I want you to think about it, and I want you to go out and do. And then 2 weeks from now, we'd love for you to come back and join us right here on the Simple Gift Show. You can find us on the web, of course, at thesimplegiftsband.com. We're on all the social media. If you'll check out our calendar, it would mean so much to us if you came and found us face to face. We would love to meet you in person. So come find us at a church or at a venue near you. So with that, thank you so much for being here. We are so grateful that you are a part of the Simple Gifts Show, and we'll look for you right back here. We are Simple Gifts, the Sawyer Family Band. That's my husband on lead guitar, rhythm guitar, daughter Leah on the fiddle, young David on the mandolin. My name is Kathy. We love you and thank you so much for being here. We'll see you in 2 weeks.